Hello and welcome into 247 Sports Live. I am Emily Proud. We appreciate you joining us live here on YouTube. If you would be as so kind as the like button and make sure that you are subscribed, we'd really appreciate it. And we have a very special double commitment show for you today. So let's go ahead and introduce the two prospects who will be making their commitments. First up, it's Jarquez Carter. I'll tell you more about the defensive lineman shortly, but then, of course, stay tuned for four-star athlete and top 247 prospect Dylan Robinson. The California native is picking between Notre Dame, UCLA, and Washington. But let's get started by telling you more about defensive lineman Jarquez Carter. Out of Newberry, Florida, the 2025 prospect put up 9 sacks and 15 QB hurries in his junior season. He also plays basketball, but hey, we're talking football here on this show. So a reminder of his 247 Sports prospect profile. He is currently the number 45 defensive lineman in the class, and he comes in at a whopping 6'2", 284. Now, the Sunshine State native has narrowed down his finalists to 5: Florida, Miami, Ohio State, Penn State, and UCF. Now that you know all about him, let's go ahead and welcome in Jarquez Carter, who is here live with us getting ready to make his commitment. Jarquez, before you make your commitment, I have a couple questions. First off, who do you have with you here today? You seem to be in a big gym.
I have a lot of people. I brought a lot of people with me. My family, some fans, the whole community came out to show love, and I really appreciate them for it.
Yes, and before you make your commitment, just first off, who would you like to thank for getting you to this position today?
First of all, I'd like to thank God. Without God, none of this possible. I truly thank my mom for everything she did. I thank my dad, and I thank my granddad too, because my mom not able to take me on business. He was the first person we called, so I thank him. And I thank my pastor too for praying over me when I needed it, and just thank the whole community for showing me love.
All right, without further ado, Jarquez, the floor is yours.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you would find your seats, we're getting ready for the big moment. All right. So now we get to talk about Jarquez Carter. Jarquez is currently live with 247 Sports. They just gave him a quick interview. That's why we had to pause for a few minutes. Jarquez wears number 56 for the Newberry Panthers and is our defensive tackle. I've had the opportunity of watching him for several years out here, and just definitely is a workhorse for the Newberry Panthers. Jarquez is looking for 6. You stop. Calm down. Look at your face at you over there. You take it down. This is where you're at. This is where you need to be. All right. He's looking at 6 different hats on the table here. Well, there's 5 hats, but there's 6 on my list, so I'm going to name them all. First, we have Penn State. Next, we have Florida State University. Next, we have Florida Gators. Next, we have Ohio State Buckeyes. Next, we have the Miami Hurricanes. And lastly, we have UCF. Is that correct? You ready? All right. I am now going to hand the microphone over to Jarquez for his decision.
First of all, I want to thank God. I want to thank everybody for showing love and supporting me. Definitely thank my mom and my dad and my granddad. Big shout out to Blueberry coaching staff. Definitely Coach Johnson, Coach Woodcock, Coach JG. I want to get back on my granddad. I thank him for everything he's been doing. My mom not able to take me on visits. He's the first person we call. He's the first person there for us if we need him.
Yes, sir.
Thank my mom for all the advice. Sometimes we go back and forth on things, but it's always love at the end of the day. We had just the light. That's why we probably get along sometimes. Big shout out to Trent too. Trent, Auntie Nisha, Bama, I forgot my name. And all that being said, for the next 3 to 4 years, I'll be taking my talents too. Oh, they can't see me. They can't see me. I'll be going to Ohio State.
Wow, what a reaction from the crowd there at Newberry. Jarquez, congratulations. You have picked Ohio State. Why the Buckeyes?
Really because I'm in the for stability. Ohio State, my real stable coaching staff, and Larry Johnson.
Mama, where you at, Mama?
I appreciate
Where'd you go?
team.
Come on down here. Come on
Coach
down.
staff for building this relationship with me. So,
Bama, you stay seated.
Well, Jarquez, a huge congratulations on picking the Ohio State Buckeyes. Looking forward to seeing you play there up north. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Again, a big congratulations. And a big congrats out to Ohio State for landing Jarquez Carter, the defensive lineman, will make an instant impact to its #1 class. That's right, Ryan Day and company are doing work on the trail in 2025, now adding its 24th commitment of the cycle. So with that, let's bring in Bill Kierlick of Bucknuts.com to talk a little bit more about this edition. What are the Buckeyes getting in Jarquez Carter?
Well, Emily, they are getting an interior defensive lineman, a stout interior defensive lineman. He goes 6'2", 284 pounds, ability to stop the run. But what I like best about Jarquez would be his explosiveness and his chase down ability. We just watched that video of him chasing down quarterbacks. He can chase down running backs, but he can really play almost sideline to sideline with that ability to chase down opposing runners and quarterbacks. So, as you mentioned, an excellent addition for the Ohio State program.
Where do you see him fitting into this Ohio State defense when he does arrive on campus?
Well, he'll fit in as a 3 technique with the ability to also play nose tackle, but primarily he'll be a 3 technique for the Buckeyes. And he also fits in the class well in that they have already 2 commitments at defensive tackle in Trajan Odom as well as Maxwell Roy. Now they've got a really outstanding trio in the class of 3 defensive tackles. And then they also have 3 defensive ends that are very, very talented. Zion Grady from Alabama, Zaire Mathis from Pennsylvania, and London Merritt, who is at IMG. So really, it's a tremendously talented and well-balanced group of 6 current defensive linemen, 3 on the end and 3 in the interior.
Very well-rounded, certainly a position that you can never have too much of. You mentioned Ohio State's class, the guys that he adds. This is the top class in the nation right now. They just continue to get stronger. So it feels a little greedy to be asking this question, but who else is on the radar for Ohio State at the moment?
Well, the Buckeyes are in a battle with Alabama for that top spot, and Jarquez helps them create a little more distance between them and the Crimson Tide. But to win that battle and to really, really impact the program, David Sanders is at the top of the list. He's the 5-star offensive tackle out of North Carolina. He is, without doubt, a top 2-3 player nationally overall. And he's a guy that Ohio State really, really covets. His addition would be tremendous. And then there's a couple other offensive linemen that certainly would be nice additions. Josh Petty and Javon McFadden are still uncommitted. So certainly they're on the list. You move back to the defensive line. I mentioned that there are 6 commitments already, but a big addition, they're trying to flip Malik Autry, a defensive tackle that's committed to Auburn and made an official visit to Ohio State last month, and he would be a great flip if they could manage to pull that one off. At wide receiver, they're looking to add at least one more player, and the 2 players that they are really squarely in the mix for right now are Phillip Bell from California and I should say Preston Bowman from right here in Central Ohio. So those 2 defensive linemen. If you move to the secondary, they still would like to add maybe 1 or 2 more secondary prospects. Messiah DeHome, a safety, is a possibility. They would certainly like to add Trey McNutt, but that's going to be a tough one. And then 1 more on the offensive side of the ball. They would like 1 more running back. They've got 2 committed running backs, but they would like to add 1 more, and they've got their sights set. They'd love to flip Anthony Turbo Rogers, who is an Alabama commitment. They would love to flip him. And then another guy to keep in mind is Shakai Mills-Knight, another talented running back.
Plenty of time until the early signing period. A lot of work left to be done for an Ohio State class that, as far as I'm looking at it, Bill, looks pretty fantastic already. Thank you so much for being on the show today. We really do appreciate your reaction. Once again, Jarquez Carter committing to Ohio State. You can check out more of Bill's work at bucknuts.com. More on this commitment, all things Ohio State recruiting. Also with Big Ten Media Days coming up next week. Keep it locked in for the latest news and coverage of Ohio State. You can find it all at bucknuts.com. Time now to introduce you to our second commitment of the show, 4-star athlete Dylan Robinson. The Bonita product is being recruited as a safety, a corner, and a wide receiver. And here is how he stacks up rankings-wise. He is considered the 14th best player in the entire talent-rich state of California, a top 200 player overall, and the number 8 ranked athlete. Dylan Robinson has narrowed it down to 3 finalists. We've got Notre Dame, UCLA, and Washington. I'm so excited to send things out to California to my friend and co-host of the College Football Recruiting Show. Blair Angulo is there with us live on site to do this commitment. So Blair, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Emily. We are in beautiful Laverne, California. It's a small, quiet town on the foothills here of the San Gabriel Mountains. It's not going to be quiet for much longer, and that's because top 24/7 athlete Dylan Robinson, who is sitting next to me here, is getting ready to reveal his college choice. The finalists are UCLA, Washington, and Notre Dame. He's one of the more coveted prospects in the Golden State and one of the top uncommitted players nationally. But Dylan, first of all, take me through this process and what it's been like for you to go through it and narrow it down to these 3 schools.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Really, it really has. But I've been super grateful kind of meeting all the coaches. There's a lot of good people out there at all the colleges. So I've been super grateful for that and really just learning the lessons that they teach me from everywhere. Narrowing it down to these 3 really just came down to obviously football, but it's also they all have great staffs and there's great people.
We're at Chase's here in Old Town Laverne. You have a good crowd here. What's it been like to share this journey and this process with your family and your friends?
It's been super special for sure. I think all of them have kind of helped me through it because it can be kind of crazy at times, but they've all kind of helped me through it and just pushed me to be the best I can be.
You took official visits to all 3 schools during the month of June. Now the moment is here, Dylan Robinson. Where will you be playing your college football?
Sir, well, first I just thank you for coming out and thank you guys all for being here. I just kind of want to start by, thanking God for the opportunities and the abilities that I've been blessed with and for surrounding me with great people, great coaches, great family, teammates and friends who have all lifted me up and kind of pushed me to be the best I can be. The position that I'm in is kind of crazy for me just because I've kind of dreamed about this since I was born. My dad, he was a college coach So I really grew up on the field. Some of my first memories were running around University of Wyoming's field, or waking up on a Saturday and my mom screaming, "It's college game day in America." Um, and yeah, really just watching football all day. And the dream was to kind of be that guy in the football games that I was watching. But really, what it came down to was just these great schools with great staffs. I just want to take the time to kind of thank each and every staff for spending so much time with me and my family, and really teach me some valuable lessons. Obviously, thank you, Coach Beatty, Coach Bogan, and really everyone who's mentored me along the way from Little League up to here. Thank you, Dad, for all the sacrifices you've made and kind of teaching me to be a man. Thank you, Mom, for dealing with me all these years and teaching me to find joy in the little things in life. And thank you, Sydney, for always being there with me and being my best friend since you were born. I'm super grateful for all you guys. I hope you guys know how much you mean to me, and I hope to make you all proud. With all that being said, though, it's time to get into kind of why you guys all came here. So, yeah, for the next 3 to 4 years, my college career, I'm going to be taking my talents too. You dub, baby. Go Huskies. Go Huskies, man. Yeah.
Bow down to the Washington Huskies, that new staff in Seattle, Coach Jed Fish, Coach Jay Rich, reel in a big fish here in Southern California. And I know you had some different options when it came to positional fit. Yeah. The Washington Huskies like you at cornerback. What did you think of their vision for you?
I think it's great. Really what they play kind of fits into what I like to play in football. Kind of like a cover 2 man type of corner. Obviously I'll be kind of dynamic there. I can move to safety, move around, kind of create matchups, but defensively I love this game.
New staff, like I mentioned, and this is a program that just competed in the national championship. What kind of faith do you have that this new staff is going to continue the trajectory that this program has been on?
Yeah, so the program's been doing great. Obviously, a lot of the staff is from Arizona, and they did a great job developing that team and turning them into a good team. And coming to Washington, which is already a good team to start with, I think that they're going to continue Washington's path on the way up.
Washington Huskies come down to Southern California to get one of the best prospects. Emily, we joke all the time about players we'd be excited to play with in the new college football video game. How about a two-way talent, receiver, corner, safety, could do a little bit of everything? Dylan Robinson headed up to Seattle to play his college ball for the Huskies.
Love it. Thank you, Blair. Thank you, Dylan. What an ad for the Huskies. Washington landing the 4-star athlete Dylan Robinson out of California. Jed Fish putting together a top 20 class with this latest edition. Get this. The Huskies 2025 group now has 5 players from the top 247. So let's welcome in national recruiting analyst Greg Biggins to talk a little bit more about this commitment. So just lay it out for me. What are the Huskies getting in 4-star athlete Dylan Robinson?
Yeah, no, first off, I had to sport some UW gear to kind of show some love to Jay Rich, Mondo Hawkins over there. They're getting a great two-way player. And, let me throw out a name for you. Juju Smith, Long Beach Poly High School, USC. We thought Juju was going to be a safety coming out of high school, coming out of Poly. Ended up going and playing receiver, was a second-round draft pick out of USC. I could see Dylan being in a similar route. He's going to play, obviously, some defense, but I think he's an exceptional wide receiver. Love the size, love the athleticism, love the speed, hands, body control. I know I'm describing a receiver right now as a safety. I mean, he's all of 6'3" and can run. He's got range. He's got ball skills. He'll come down and hit you. But I think he's a genuine two-way player. I don't use that term often in terms of a guy that can go to college, Emily, and play on both sides of the ball. So coming in as a safety corner, but I wouldn't be shocked if they give him a little bit of a look at receiver. He does like receiver, and maybe line him up on both ways, both sides of the ball. I think that'd be kind of fun.
I know that he would be all for that. I know players love to play as much as they possibly can. This is an interesting staff, too, because they have a lot of NFL ties on it as well. And so you would think that they would push you into more of a singular position. But you mentioned it. He mentioned it. They anticipate him playing some corner, but also potentially into safety as well. So where do you see him fitting in if he's just playing defense on the defensive side of the ball for the Huskies?
So if he's just playing defense, I like him as a safety. And I think the game's changed. You know, he can definitely play corner. Like I mentioned, he has that short area quickness. He has cover instincts and he has ball skills, but he's 6'3". And I'm looking at a guy who's at 6'3" right now. He's going to probably put on just organically 15 to 20 pounds without losing much athleticism. So looking at a guy who's going to be 6'3" and 215, that's probably more of a safety. But modern day football right now, even in the Big Ten, you have to be able to play cover safety, right? You can't just be those big hulking guys that play run support and come downhill. You have to have range. You have to be able to go downhill, but you also have to be able to have range and cover people. So I think he fits the modern day college football landscape of, obviously it's a throwing league right now. Every league now is a throwing league, including the Big Ten. And so you want to have those big safeties that can also cover and hit. So I think stylistically, frame-wise, I think he fits as a safety. But again, Emily, I want to see him get some receiver snaps as well. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll give Jedd Fisch a call myself and lobby for him to get some two-way snaps.
I keep pushing it. I mean, I'm here for it. Yeah, let's go for it. Okay, get Jedd Fisch on the phone after this. I'm about to say goodbye to you, so you have plenty of time to make that phone call. Greg, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. And once again, congratulations to the Huskies for landing 4-star athlete Dylan Robinson. You can read more about this commitment and all commitments really on 247sports.com. You'll also find in-depth analysis, rankings, recruiting news, VIP info, so much more. Check it all out at 247sports.com. Now, we may be done with commitments on this show, but we are not done with commitments this week on the 247 Sports YouTube channel, so stay tuned for 5-star wide receiver Derek Meadows. He is making his college choice Saturday at 3 Eastern. Meadows is picking between Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Michigan, and Notre Dame. Thank you so much for watching. One more time, hit that like button on the way out. Make sure that you are subscribed. This was 247 Sports Live.